You're watching Goal.com's mid-season review focusing on the biggest clubs in Europe. Up for discussion, Manchester United, and on the surface, Greg, everything seems okay if you look at the statistics, top of the Premier League, still in Europe, but there are cracks there, there are weaknesses.
Yeah, they'd still be my tip for the title, but I do worry about their defence, especially in the Champions League. They conceded the first goal so many times this season. It's been a real problem for them. They haven't had a settled centre-back partnership. They've really missed Nemanja Vidic at the back, and Fergie really needs to decide who his first-choice goalkeeper is as well. But at the other end, they've got so much firepower in attack with Wayne Rooney and Robin van Persie, and they're bailing them out of games, and they've just got so much quality, and that's why everything's looking okay at the moment, but there's still cracks, as you said.
Matt, can a team rely on strikers to bail out a leaky defence? For a whole season?
Not throughout the whole season, no. I mean, they've already lost games this season, which they probably, wouldn't normally. Norwich away, for instance, springs to mind. You can't keep giving away the first goal. The quality they've got, they've got them out of jail on numerous occasions. Van Persie, Rooney, Hernandez off the bench at times. There is real quality there. At the back, I think the goalkeeper situation is a big issue. I think that Sir Alex Ferguson needs to pick who he thinks is the best and go with him and say, you're my number one. Now, for me, David De Gea is that man. I think he's the best goalkeeper at United. Yes, there's been moments where he's looked a little shaky. He's a young lad. He's learning the game. But I think in terms of making the better saves, I think he's better than Lindegaard. Lindegaard's a solid goalkeeper, but De Gea makes special saves. I think the signs that his confidence is improving. And I think he's United's better keeper. He's better on the floor. When you're trying to get the ball moving from the back, I think he's better in getting you playing again. So I would say, go with De Gea. He's my number one goalkeeper, and say from now to the end of the season, you're hit.
What are they missing in midfield?
Well, I mean, everyone keeps saying that they haven't got this box-to-box midfield player, and they probably haven't. They're not. Brian Robson over the years, Roy Keane, Paul Ince, all these players that have got that real energy, get goals, can do the defensive side as well. They probably haven't got that in the team at the moment. I think Carrick does a great job in the holding role. Obviously, Darren Fletcher's been missing for a long period. I think Tom Cleverley is someone that's starting to show signs that he can do it and be a bit more box-to-box. But that's probably the player that Sir Alex Ferguson would have on his wish list. There's not that many of them about, though. That's the problem. I mean, certainly not the quality of Roy Keane. For the period that he spent at United, he was the number one. So it's difficult to find that on the shopping list.
And that's why Paul Scholes is still so important to United at his age, and he'll be more important in the second half of the season. I think Fergie's been quite careful with playing Scholes in the first half because he wants him in the second half of the season when the really important games come around for his influence in midfield. But like you said, United don't have the money either because of the well-documented issues with the finances under the Glazers. So I don't think Fergie will go into the transfer market in January. It's just not what he does. The odd player, he'll find the odd gem like Nemanja Vidic and Petri Evra was signed in January. I think he'll probably wait until next summer before finally replacing Paul Scholes and even looking back, replacing Roy Keane. Players like Kevin Strootman and Tom Ince, they're the kind of players he's looking at, though, because he needs to sign with someone cheaply and turn him into a star. He hasn't got the money to go out and spend 30 million on a Wesley Sneijder or a fantastic player.
Greg said he doesn't like January transfer window. It doesn't really ever do business in it.
No, traditionally Ferguson hasn't gone into the market in January, but when he has dipped his toe in the January waters, he's done pretty well. Aside from a baptism of fire a few years ago in the derby against Manchester City, I recall, Nemanja Vidic and Petri Evra have gone on to become, I suppose you could call them, bona fide United legends, and they were both signed in January. I think for United at the moment, I think they haven't really had an acid test as to how good this team actually is. I think last season in the Champions League and also in the Europa League, when they come up against teams like Basel and then against Athletic Bilbao, they really got an education, a yardstick of how good the team was, and it proved to be not that good at all. In my opinion, the standard within the Premier League has decreased maybe in the past 2 or 3 years, and the betting figures for the Champions League this year would display that. I think United's problem is that they had a very, very easy group in the Champions League this year, and they coasted it and were through after 4 games. So if they get a tough knockout draw in the Champions League, then I could see Ferguson maybe having to address some of these issues in the summer, because up until now I think they haven't really been tested.
All right, guys, thanks. That was Manchester United. Will Ferguson make a rare appearance in the January transfer window, bolster that defence midfield? For all the news and analysis, go to goal.com.